the sixth and final lecture of the program, and it's titled Phenomena, Patterns, Parallels, Paradox, Problems, and Paradigms. And to start with, we're going to go back to our friend, Mr. Charles Fort. Now I want to explain a couple things here about Charles Fort. He's writing in the early 1920s, and this book has compiled 4 of his books: The Book of the Damned, New Lands, Wild Talents, and Lo. The Book of the Damned, as I explained, is phenomena that scientists can't explain. New Lands is his ideal that there are other dimensions. He explains certain patterns in the weather, certain things that people see that not just one person, but dozens or hundreds of people see, that the only way that it could happen is if there is a land somewhere up in the sky or existing here with us that is unexplained. And he is the godfather of phenomena. He is also the godfather of the word supernatural. And Wild Talents is a book that describes some of the most unusual gifts that people have. And he's taking a lot of his information from various newspapers all over the world. He has people in Australia, Asia, Russia, all over the U.S. And in that time, they would cut articles out for him, and they would send their information to him, and he would just log it, collate it, pile it up, and he came up with the books. And Wild Talents is pretty good. It talks about different things that people do, different things that happen. It also talks about spontaneous combustion of humans and things of that nature. And the Book of the Damned also has a lot of what we would consider at this time to be portents. Lights in the sky. He reports a lot about lights that are on the moon, craft, some kind of spacecraft that flies across the moon. And so he goes on, for instance, about how so many of our discoveries in the sky are made by amateurs, and that's true even today. Lo is actually what I say, lo and behold. He will set up a scenario, and then what actually happens is completely different from what the scientists are saying or predicting. So he goes, look, and behold, this is what happens. And so there are, it's concerning wild weather patterns and so many different things that he talks about. And I would stop to think that at some time in the future, a lot of this will happen again. I don't think that a lot of things that happened in the 1700s, 1800s would not happen again. But he describes in his books all kinds of cigar-shaped ships, ships that look like he took tea saucers and put them together, and he's describing things that we now have commonplace terms for. Okay, and so I'm going to take one little tangent of what he says, and then I'm going to show you what the government says about it. Now he's recording a lot of this from the 1800s. Okay, and we'll just have to follow along with this. Okay, and that he's talking about seeing so many meteorological phenomena. Now I want to talk about, for just a second, what they say meteorologists. And what is today the modern term for weather people. People that forecast or give you the weather. And what the meteorologists will say, and what they're trained to say in their colleges and institutions, is that, well, people used to think that meteors would predict the weather. All right, that's what probably most of you guys have heard in here. But if we read in Charles Fort, he goes back into the 1800s, before we had weather people and meteorologists, and clearly shows that it all comes from portents in the sky, ships and lights that fly in the sky that indicate earthquakes and things like that. So it wasn't the meteors that they're talking about, because even up until the early 1800s, it was pretty much accepted geologically and scientifically that no rocks or anything fell out of the sky. Nothing came in cosmically from outer space. There was nothing. And then it was, I believe, 1806 or something that Thomas Jefferson and several others, it was one of those mornings like what we had, 14, 15 years ago, where the sky was just lighted up with things coming out of it. And so when it was proven as a fact that objects did fall from the celestial heavens, that they determined that, well, we do have meteors or rocks that come from the sky. But the initial thing was that these lights that flash across the sky, or just beat, or whatever, that these predict the weather. No, it was that these lights are seen before catastrophic events, be it an earthquake, even battles and war and such as that. And so it kind of gets watered down, and that's part of taking away from the phenomenon of lights that we see in the sky. And the same thing with climbing too, that the lights in the sky predicted this or predicted other things. And I guess that's where they get a lot of it, is from the ancient authors, as they are trying to attempt the idea that there are people in other places. Now we're going to talk about some spinning wheels. And a lot of it happens in the Persian Gulf. While on a voyage up the Persian Gulf in May 1880, on a dark night about 11:30 p.m., there suddenly appeared on each side of the ship an enormous luminous wheel whirling around, the spokes of which seemed to brush the ship along. The spokes would be 200 or 300 yards long and resembled birch rods of the dames' schools. Each wheel contained about 16 spokes, and although the wheels must have been 500 or 600 yards in diameter, the spokes could be distinctly seen all the way around. The phosphorescent gleam seemed to glide along flat on the surface of the sea, no light being visible in the air above the water. The appearance of these spokes could be almost exactly represented by standing in a boat and flashing a bullseye lantern horizontally along the surface of the water, around and round. I may mention that the phenomenon was also seen by Captain Avern. I wonder if that's one of your ancestors. Avern, commander of the Patna, and Mr. Manning, third officer. The wheels advanced along with the ship for about 20 minutes. And here we see another one. The writer then takes up the measurements that are given and calculates the velocity at the circumference of the wheel at 166 yards per second. All right, that's a scientist judging how fast these wheels are spinning on the outer edge. All right, I calculated that as 340 miles per hour. All right, so there's something down in the water, in the ocean, that is spinning light, flashing up, and it is quite fast and supremely vast. Okay? He then says, from the nodded plume, he assumes it might be inferred that your correspondent is in the habit of sailing too close to the wind. So here, let's go down a little bit. The obvious explanation for this phenomenon is that under the surface of the sea in the Persian Gulf was a vast luminous wheel, that it was the light from its submerged spokes that Mr. Robertson saw shining upward. It seems clear that this light did shine upward from origin below the surface of the sea. But at first, it is not so clear how vast luminous wheels, each the size of a village, ever got under the surface of the Persian Gulf. Also, there may be some misunderstanding as to what they were doing there. Okay, here we're talking, okay? That upon April the 4th in 1901, about 8:30, in the Persian Gulf, Captain Hossein of the steamship Kilwa, according to a paper read before the Society by Captain Hossein, was sailing in the sea in which there were no phosphorescences. That's the bio animals that glow. There being no phosphorescence in the water. Okay, and he goes, and this is Charles Fort. I suppose I'll have to repeat that. There was no phosphorescence in the water. Vast shafts of light, though the captain uses the word ripples, suddenly appeared. Shaft followed shaft upon the surface of the sea, but it was only a faint light, and in about 15 minutes died out, having appeared suddenly, having died out gradually. The shafts revolved at a velocity of about 60 miles per hour. And then he talks a little about the phosphorescent jellyfish, and gives some credence there. But then let's go down here, and this is in 1906. This last voyage we witnessed a weird and most extraordinary electric display. In the Gulf of Oman, which is at the mouth of the Persian Gulf, he saw a bank of apparently quiescent phosphorescence, but when within 20 yards of it, shafts of brilliant light came sweeping across the ship's back at a prodigious speed, which might be put down as anything between 60 and 200 miles an hour. These light bars were about 20 feet apart and most regular. As to phosphorescence, I collected a bucket full of water and examined it under the microscope. Now, this is important here. I collected a bucket full of water and examined it under the microscope, but could not detect anything abnormal. That the shafts of light came up from something beneath the surface. They first struck us on our broadside, and I noticed that an intervening ship had no effect on the light beams. They started away from the lee side of the ship, just as if they had traveled right through it. Okay, and then it says over there, the Gulf of Oman is the entrance to the Gulf, the Persian Gulf. All right, let's look at a little bit more. Trying to get a description, trying to get something in our minds that we can see. We're seeing these lights underneath the sea, and this scientist, he drops a bucket into the water, he pulls it up, there ain't no bugs in it. There ain't no fish in it. There ain't no little tiny one-cell creatures that are glowing all in a super sequence. Now, if you think about it, we do have bioluminescence in the oceans, especially down in Florida, Caribbean, all over in the warmer climes, and but they never have a pattern. I've seen them several times. There's never a moving pattern to them at all. Okay, this is 1907. Shafts which seemed to move round a center, like the spokes of a wheel, and appeared to be 300 yards long. The phenomenon lasted about half an hour, during which time the ship had traveled 6 or 7 miles. It stopped suddenly. So whatever it is underneath the water moves with the ship. Okay? All right? And here's another one. Just in October of 1891, in the China Sea, he had seen shafts or lances of light that had had the appearance of rays of a searchlight that had moved like such rays. And here's another, 1879. He had noticed luminous waves or pulsations in the water, moving at great speed. The waves of light extended from the surface well underneath the water. And it's Commander Pringle's opinion that the shafts constituted one wheel, and that doubling was an illusion. He judges the shafts to have been about 25 feet broad, and the spaces about 100 feet. Velocity, about 84 miles an hour. Duration, 35 minutes. Okay, now, let's take this down here. This is the U.S. Naval Oceanographic Office of Washington, D.C. We can clearly see 1967. See? 1967. Let's scroll down. Science and the Sea. All right? And this is pretty much the Navy presented to Navy captains or to explain things or give their take on it, whatever. Science and the Sea. All right? Let's see what they say about the same thing. Oh, wow. They got a picture of it in there, don't they? Okay. Huh. A sketch. See this? Sketch of a phosphorescent wheel. See the Navy ship in there, slicing through it. And you see how pretty all those spokes are. They're all perfectly curved. And it's spinning. Marine displays are generally grouped in three general categories. Sheet type, often appearing as a sheet-like glow extending for several miles over the sea surface. These are caused by tiny one-celled animals, protozoans. The spark type, observed as innumerable flickering points of light. These are caused by the minute shrimp-like crustaceans. And three, globe type, observed as glowing balls of light produced by jellyfish and truncates when drifted along together in groups in the sea. All right, so what are we seeing here? All right, we're seeing the same thing in Charles Fort. They'd already done the research. They knew exactly what it was. It's some phenomenon down in the sea. He checked it. There ain't no bioluminescent bugs. These guys here in the Navy, they're telling you, oh, that's just some creature in the sea. It's either protozoa, shrimp, or jellyfish. And all of them are talking to each other and spinning. And these wheels are traveling at 600 miles an hour at the outer edges. Those guys must be smart, man. Okay, when's my time to light up? And they all, for miles, or for half a mile or so, they're all talking to each other, and they're all just in sync with each other, and they're all just happy. And this is not a phenomenon. It's little tiny sea creatures. And this is how our illustrious government describes such phenomena. Even though in the 1800s people are describing the same doggone thing, and I believe Charles Fort does a real good job of bringing this to light, and I believe that these guys here do as poor an academic job as is possibly available or obtainable to discredit it. And then you'll read that numerous reports concerning these phenomena have been received from ships throughout the world. Some of the descriptive terms submitted by observers are as follows: appeared as shallow water, low-lying fog bank, broad belts, narrow belts, rivers, milky patches, barge moving at great speed, flashing spots, white water, beams of light like a searchlight, patches resembling pack ice, pale blue, horizon to horizon, millions of electric lights, starry sky, round blobs, cloud-like patches, continuously changing form, large counterclockwise pinwheels, and many others. But it sure looks like down in the ocean, you just might have all kinds of such activity. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just showing you information that I have gleaned. Now, I have featured this book in a previous presentation, Hunting Dinosaurs. And we're going to go back to it for just something else. And I want to point out that I don't have my dinosaur books here. I didn't bring them. I was running out of space, and I didn't bring any of the books that I wasn't using or didn't have for sale. So I don't bring my dinosaur books that are all marked, annotated, and I'm almost ready to do an incredible lecture series just on dinosaurs and evolution. And it would just be absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to show you what the experts say, let you make up your own mind. All right? But in this book, Hunting Dinosaurs, there is the picture here in the rear, or towards the back, okay, of this scientist from Canada. And he's talking to one of our friends there who looks a lot like my Felicity, except he's missing a hat or something, right? And the attention drawn to the skull the man is holding. All right, now, if you study this skull, and you see a lot of the ceramic skulls or plastic skulls that are available today from different science houses, different anthropology groups, and paleontology people, whatever, all of them have this real big, beautiful lower mandible, lower jawbone. And I want to just point out that the skull that he is holding doesn't have that massive lower jawbone with teeth in it. It doesn't have any teeth. And this leads me to wonder if whether or not that particular skull he is holding in his hand is real. It does not appear to me to have come from any of the people who make the skulls that I have met, or any of the other places that manufacture these skulls for various museums. That right there, almost, to me, it appears that it could be actually a very real skull. All right? So whether he's holding, if I have not made any effort to contact this man, I don't know if he's still alive, but chances are that's a real skull. That's what I'm saying there. That's all I'm saying here. Okay? And of course you see the Felicity right there looking at him. But I believe that's one of Felicity's boyfriends. I don't think that's actually Felicity. Okay? But here's another book that I'll be featuring. It's written by two husband and wife teams. They got their names on there just as big. First, middle, last. And it's a pretty thick book. This book is about 2.5 inches thick. And I could do a 6-hour series book report on just this book alone, and discussing fossils. And I lump my fossil books in with my paleontology dinosaur books because they all kind of concur. They've all kind of buddied up, and they have their dogma and their paradigm down to a T. Okay, but the thing about these evolution books and this and that, a lot of people don't read them, and especially don't get to the end of the pages in it. But let's look at something very peculiar on page 484. Page 484. Guess what we have? Now, what does tickle me is that a lot of people who do believe in evolution and use the fossil theory to back up their theory of evolution, they don't credit the fossilizing or the books in the fossil category when they throw something like this out. So it kind of throws their paradigm or their dogma, their doctrine, throws it into a loop. But we can see this, that some of these are models, and some of these are really good models. Why bother building a life-size model of this creature if you don't have some evidence to support it? So, if you wrap this up in your ball of evolution, is this possible? Well, no, that's not possible. Well, then why do you bother going for it then? Now, me, I know what that looks like. And I'm sure that many of you here also know what this looks like. But again, this is a picture, page 484, out of the fossil book. So, how many of these fossils have they actually found? We don't know. I have no clue. And now we're going to, some of you may be familiar with some of my previous work where I talk about the ancient coins in a very humorous manner. And I have now only about this much, 2 stacks, maybe that tall, of ancient coin books. I study them, I read them, collect ancient coins, but several years ago I had 2 stacks about that tall, and I had no place to put them. I didn't have my shop built, They were just in the way. And my wife says, you got to do something with these books, man. They're just in the way. I had no place to put them. And I said, I'm never going to do anything with those books. So I burned them. And now what I have is just what I found laying around in different places, in different boxes and stuff that I didn't find when I was burning them. And so I must apologize when I do another lecture on the ancient coins. I've only got about 2 stacks that tall, where I did have 2 stacks that tall, but you get the idea. You will get the idea. And to plant the seed for what my next lecture concerning the ancient coins would be, I want to show you. Now, I've covered up the name of this particular catalog because I don't want to get shot going out the door. But this is out of Switzerland, okay? And it's in German, and I'm sure that the only thing really you can see is that it was February 29, 2008. Coins of the finest quality, extremely fine condition. All right. And if anybody bothers to learn enough German to study in the preface and everything, is all legal documents concerning any of these coins has to be presented in German for a German court. So if you get one of these coins and you don't like it, you have to respond within 10 days in legal Swiss terms. All right, and now we're going to take a little ride right here. Okay. All right, now we're going to look at this coin. Now they've blown the coin up, and these books are, each book, I would hate to put a price tag on it, but the books are entirely in color. Everything is in color. And the kaolin glossed clay pages everywhere. And I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to digress to one of my predictions back in 1997. All right, now everything is Swiss, excuse me, not Swiss franc, but euros. 300,000 euros. You see that right there between the 2 coins there, these 2 pictures, it says 300,000. 300,000 euros is what this coin costs. Okay? And you'll see up here in the corner it says beautiful tone. Okay? Provenance Swiss private collection. Okay? That means where it comes from. Where does it come from? They don't say what hill. They don't say what mound in Italy or in Parthia. Okay, it doesn't say where the coin comes from. It doesn't say Felicity, whatever. All right? And he said, beautiful tone. Extremely rare and the finest known specimen. See it right here? And when you see this right here, FDC, that means it's like brand new mint condition. Okay? Mint condition. And in the magazines, they'll show you the coin, the actual size. And then for the convenience of examination, they'll blow it up. All right? Well, this is Junius Brutus. Huh. Okay. And what happens is right up here. Mint. Moving with Brutus, summer of 42 BC. Well, give a little background here. Brutus was one of the assassins of Julius Caesar, 44 BC. And right after that happened, he fled east with Crassus and the army at Philippi. And he didn't live much longer than this. And I'm like, wait a second. How could he be in a town long enough to get a coin minted? And I'm doing this particular thing here to tease my buddy Paul, because he just finds a lot of this just absolutely hilarious. And I do too. I do too. What I'm showing you is a farce. I want to make that clear. Moving with Brutus, summer of 42. Moving on with Brutus. Well, it was because there were several armies chasing this guy's ass. But he has to stop in this town, and in 2 weeks they oh yeah, Brutus is in town. He stayed at the hotel down there. Let's spend a coin out there. Yeah. And then down here is all the bylines. And it talks basically about how the Cassius Dio, who's writing in early 2nd century A.D., then he has one spot where he mentions a coin after the Civil War or something that bears the likeness of Brutus or whatever, and that this is a coin from that era, and that this is that's the credence. That is this whole coin is predicated on a line in Cassius Dio. Okay, so my prediction back in 1997 is that they're going to start proving history with the ancient coins, because they're already taking ancient coins and attempting to prove history, as what they did with the Bar Kokhba coins. And Bar Kokhba never lived, but you can find his coins everywhere, and all this mythology, well, they call it, I call it mythology, all this history concerning Bar Kokhba. And here goes, Brutus is right here down at the bottom, and that Brutus committed suicide during the Second Battle of Philippi in 42 BC. Well, I guess he was on the run in summer of 42, but we stopped and had time to make a coin in his honor. Which to me, I'm sorry you guys in Switzerland, but this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever, well, no, I can't say that because I have 2 stacks of them. And I study them. And I go through them, and I mark which ones are identical to which ones, and which ones by weight, and this and that and this and the other, and I can make a circle that is just absolutely hilarious. It's going to be a sequel to my last coin show. All right? And the fact that it is 300,000 euros, this is a lot of money. This is a lot of money, and I can't believe that anyone. But see, these guys are so good that they have studied their ancient Roman history. They know how to read Latin. They know how to read Greek. They know how to make notes and annotations and put everything together to where now they can come up with coins from myths that we have only one line in some obscure ancient historians' books concerning this myth, or even much less the coins that came from it. And the only people out there that can bust them that I know are Paul and myself. Because we've been there, we've done it, and we've done the research too, and we know better. And I still get 4, 5, 6 of these catalogs every year. And I know that these books cost 20, 25 euros a piece to just print up. They're usually about half an inch thick, and they just, there's nothing black and white in them. It's all color. Heavy inked color, like you see here. Now, I want to point out that I want to talk about more of the books that I don't have here and books that I haven't shown you. All right, now, one of them is, two stacks are the rock art from the American Southwest and actually Canada, the Northwest. The rock art, petroglyphs, just hundreds and hundreds, and I can do a lecture just on them, and all I'm doing is showing you the petroglyph. You make up your own mind of what you think it is. I'll just show it to you. You determine what you believe it is, and some of them are pretty obvious, but I'm not going to share my opinion, because my opinion isn't worthless. It is absolutely worthless. What I know counts, and what I don't know counts even more, which is a lot of times more than what I know. So, the rock art from the American Southwest, I had the opportunity, well, visiting so many ancient sites and libraries, bookstores in the American Southwest, I was able to make many, many copies of Xerox copies from collections, which is absolutely astounding. I know people who are into the indigenous tribes of the American Southwest who have just, 30, 40 books. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in there and make some copies, make some Xeroxes, and they don't mind. But in 08, I had a fire, and probably about that many of my Xerox copies were lost or burned up. They were incinerated. I know how I can retrieve them again. I don't have copies now, but I know the people whose books that I was able to get them from. And I visited the, I got good with the BLM directors out there, Nancy at the Havasupai, the BIA agency, Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they have a lot of books in the museums that they don't mind you making copies of as far as certain specific things, because if I can purchase a book, I will. And another set of books that I have that I cherish are my pottery books from the American Southwest. On and on and on, the pottery, the pottery, the pottery. Now, several of the books that I had here earlier yesterday, they do have different styles of the pottery that they found at some of these sites. But then I have books that describe pottery, the graphics on them, the polychromes, the different manufacturing processes, the kiln process of firing them, on and on and on, and I can put it together in a way that it is just absolutely fascinating to me. I hope it would be fascinating to someone else, but to me, I'm like, wow, holy, I didn't realize that. And so the final thing I want to show is, or tell about, is I'm working now on book 3 of my discoveries and our discoveries and decipherments that happened in Marion County, Illinois. I'm about halfway or maybe a third of the way finished with my book 3. My books are available as ebooks, and they always will be. And I can't see publishing any of them because there's so many color pictures, it just eats you up. And there are very, very few presses here in the United States that even print color pages of books anymore. You pretty much have to go to Singapore or China to get it done. And they're in vast quantities. But when I do that, it was just so outrageously expensive that it's just totally the whole area of southern Illinois, which has 28 ancient sites, ancient stone sites that they know of. And some of them look similar to what I've seen in the woods here in Connecticut concerning these long, straight rock walls. Similar walls exist in North Georgia and in Illinois that I have seen and witnessed. I'm sure that there are others in other places. And here, I want to show this. This is showing a stone that was one similar that I showed you earlier of this guy. And someone, I don't know who put this together. I have no idea. But it was sent to me, either email or mail or something like that, where somebody who took the time to do some more of their own research concerning the lost tomb of Alexander the Great and Ptolemies in Marion County, Illinois. And they took the one tablet here that had Gaius Octavius down. Oh, like I told you before, the American scholars should say, Augustus Caesar or Octavian is what it should say. But no, if it says Gaius Octavius in Latin, I'll take it. If it says Octavian, I'll know it's a fake. But they put on this Gaius Octavius, and I don't know if they own this stone or not. I don't. But then they show a picture of Octavian there, and if you look real close, this person, whoever this person is, who I hope contacts me if they ever see that I have used their information in a video, all right? Look at their decipherment is great. Look at it. It's a very good decipherment. And there are other people coming in behind us that are watching our videos, studying. We had someone just the other day wanting a copy of our Etruscan Volume 1 workbook. And these things help the novice learn these alphabets. And once you learn the alphabets, you start putting these letters together, boom, you're going to come out with something. And here on this same tablet, you see the Dinosaurs symbol. Okay? So, and here, this guy also had put together the Julius Caesar. So this person, whoever did this, did a really good job. And if you're out there, please contact us. Have no idea. Or if you have contacted me before and I have lost your information or whatever, I think your work is good. You have our certification of being on your toes. All right, now, one last thing. This is taken from a book of petroglyphs. It's page 213. You can see it clearly there. Bear country. This is bear country here we're talking about now. All right? Bear country. All right? Now, let's see what it says at the bottom. Okay, figure 16.2. A very different bear on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Now, this is a bear. We're going to look at a bear. All right? This is a bear on Vancouver Island. And there's my Felicity. The experts call it a bear. Now, ladies and gentlemen, does that look like a bear to you? I have never seen a bear with a pointed beak. I have never seen a bear with something up on top of its head like that. And I really have an issue with their bear. So now you know who Felicity is, where she's from, and how she got there. How do I know that Felicity is a woman, is a girl? Because I really don't believe that a guy that looked like this would have stood in the same place long enough for somebody else to make a picture of it. Vanity, I guess you could say. She's pretty, she's handsome, but a guy might not feel that way. And I hope you've enjoyed the lecture series. I hope you've enjoyed the program. I hope I've shown you some things that are pretty much off the wall, and some things that may have slipped underneath the rug, either by the government or the scholars, academics. Thank you for your kind attention.